Story mode looking better than last time. We got a new story stream from the voice actor for Ichigo. He played through the events, which seems to be like a compilation events with Chad in the bird. We actually see some cutscenes that highlights this, but it does seem like they purposely skip ahead. It's very awkward how he just goes from one extreme and then suddenly he's just automatically in the gameplay with the Shrieker. Now, one thing I've noticed about the fights with the Hollows is it just seems very more hack and slashy. In fact, these fights seem more on the boring side, not because it's a boring game or anything, but because they don't seem to fight back much. It was a little refreshing to see it do a different action, but it just feels like they're there because the developers wanted to give the people something for the game. Now, the other thing that we got was a different type of cutscene, and we see the bird and we see Chad in a outfit accurate depiction. We also see the boy who was inside of the bird, and we see Chad holding the bird. This happens very early on in the Bleach series, so the fact that they were able to illustrate this kind of shows that even if a character isn't necessarily in the gameplay model, they will likely be highlighted in the images that we see right here. And this is actually consistent because when we got the Shinji trailer, we saw something like this with the visors being on the ground. That would confirm, at the very least, there are some cutscenes in the story that's going to be depicted in that manner versus just doing in-game modeling. So the argument of, oh, they must have this character in as a model because they're important to the story isn't necessarily the case. The second part is a very lengthy cutscene depicting the ending of the Substitute Soul Reaper arc, where Rukia basically dips off because Byakuya and Renji found her. Now we see the cutscenes that lead up to it. We see Renji with gear. We see her kind of trying to get away, only for him to encounter her. From there, him and Byakuya encounter her until Uryu pulls up. What's noted about Uryu is Uryu has the bandages on his hand, and even in the cutscene itself, he's using his very first bow that he had in the series. What this tells me is that pertaining into the story, they're definitely going for accuracy. Then from here, we see Kon and we see basically the letter on the desk. And then afterwards, Kon is essentially telling him what is going on. Eventually, Ichigo is trying to go, and he encounters Kisuke, who Kisuke puts him into his Soul Reaper form, and he goes and he fights against Renji. Now, I don't know if this is a good thing or not. The voice actor loses in the first fight against Renji. We actually see one of Renji's Kiko moves, and we see a bit of gameplay from Renji, which gives us a better idea how he plays in the game. I feel as though that us seeing him here versus in the trailer does a lot more for his character and whether if people want to play him. Now, in terms of the actual difficulty of the fight, whether it was the voice actor's lack of ability to play games or if this fight was truly difficult is yet to be seen. Anyways, he ended up fighting him again, and after that, we seen some lengthy cutscenes where Ichigo gets cut down by Byakuya, and then from there, we eventually see them leave. Ichigo tries to struggle, and Rukia does her iconic thing where she tells Ichigo to leave them be. He's scum, blah blah blah, not verbatim, but anyways, they leave to go to the Soul Society, and then that's it. And Kisuke obviously saves him, but that's not highlighted in the gameplay, and that's it. Then they play the opening for what seems to be the Soul Society, and then we see the Hokyoku. We see it flash to Rebirth the Souls, but they don't show the part where White is teased, or rather Hollow Ichigo, so maybe that was just a thing for that particular trailer. Now, what we also learned, because I don't speak Japanese, but there are people in the community that are like so fast with looking at stuff and translating, we found something out very crucial about the story mode. We found out that the story mode alone will have over 130 chapters. During the gameplay, it shows a mission select, and essentially you're able to go from one mission to another. Again, story mode, but it's like into like different areas that you select versus being a seamless experience like we probably have thought. It being 130 chapters, that's a lot. And just one area to 5, 10, maybe 20 minutes. They cut some stuff. We can only assume, if depending on how the missions go, some might not take that long and some might take a lot longer. And I keep saying missions, but referring to story mode missions. We're looking at a pretty lengthy story mode. One thing that does bother me a little bit is that the part with Chad in the cockatiel, it seems rushed. Whether that was a cut or that was intentional, then it begs the question, are we going to see Odahime's brother Sora in that instance in a similar fashion? I feel like it would have made more sense for her. We don't even see the entailment of how he gets from the beginning all the way to getting to protecting the cockatiel, because it was basically some peeps like, yo Chad, yo take care of this bird, and then all of a sudden all this bad stuff start happening, which you find out is the hollow. Based upon what we've seen in this episode, I didn't see blurry shadows. Shadows look smooth, shadows look great, and for the most part everything was good. There was nothing weird in the background or anything. I think the developers, either one of two things. This ended up being a later build, but chances are they probably improved some stuff. Again, it has been a couple weeks since last time he played the game, and them also showing him in a different shirt, and him mentioning Shuhei would confirm that this is a different date that this is being recorded. Needless to say, the biggest points to take from this video is story mode is going to be long. It seems it's going to be over 130 episodes, and that story mode alone, the main story alone, we don't know how long side story is going to be. And then on top of that, some instances of gameplay, they show more of a visual art cutscene versus the in-game model cutscenes. We're going to get a combination of that. Maybe storylines that aren't as plot importance, they may not be highlighted, while others will get more of the spotlight in the regular in-game cutscene, if that makes sense. And then in terms of just overall look, feel, play, I do think when it comes to the hollow fights, they're probably going to be a little bit boring, depending on what difficulty this is on. That's just my opinion. But what do you guys think? I'm Kai San, what yo, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.